Saxophonist Courtney Pine is fascinated by cool. We're talking C words on Border Dash and Piffle in half an hour here on BBC Two after University Challenge.
University Challenge. Asking the questions, Jeremy Paxman.
Hello, tonight is another second-round match between two teams hoping to get to the quarter-finals. London Business School is a constituent college of the University of London, and they got here by beating Trinity College, Oxford in a closely fought match in which they drew a blank on the literary efforts of prime ministers and confused dinosaurs with Homo sapiens, but they were spot on pretty much everything else. Let's meet them again.
Hi, I'm Ian Gosling, I'm from London, and I'm reading for an MBA.
Hi, I'm Edwin Famous from New York. I'm also reading for an MBA.
And their captain.
Hello, my name's Anthony Lerman. I'm also from London, reading for an MBA.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Hall, and I'm from Putney, and I'm reading for an MBA.
Their opponents tonight are the University of Nottingham, who beat the medics from Imperial College London. From their last performance, we deduce that they've read Mary Poppins, but not the Bible, and their politics are emphatically monster-raving loony. Let's meet them again.
Hi, I'm Rafi Callum from Watford, and I'm reading for a degree in Maths and Economics.
Hello, I'm Anthony Fox from Widnes in Cheshire, and I'm reading medicine.
And their captain.
Hi, I'm Alex Jolly. I'm from Portsmouth, and I'm reading medicine.
Hi, I'm Paul Renshaw. I'm from Manchester, and I'm studying genetics.
OK, fingers on the buzzers. Here's your first starter for 10. Which internet tool was nicknamed Backrub when it was a Stanford research project? Because the technology checks backlinks to determine a website's importance. It developed into a search engine.
Nottingham Jolly.
Google?
Google is right, yes. 3 questions on a figure of speech for your bonuses. I can assert this truth without fear of contraception is an example of what comic misuse of language whose name derives from a character in Sheridan's play The Rivals?
Oh, right, yeah, crumbs. Malapropism.
Correct. Dogberry, an officious night constable prone to malapropisms, appears in which Shakespeare comedy?
Much Ado About Nothing.
Correct. Vera Duckworth, a character in Coronation Street, uttered the name of which tropical hardwood in a malapropism asserting her disinclination for extramarital liaisons?
Sound like a tree. Mahogany. Oh, yeah.
Mahogany.
Mahogany is right, yes. Right, 10 points for this starter question. Which traditional fashion accessory has parts called leaf, ribs, guards and sticks?
London Business School famous.
Corset?
No, you lose 5 points. Nottingham, you hear the whole thing. It was much less used by ladies after the end of the 19th century, despite having its own symbolic coded language and being of practical value in hot weather.
Nottingham Fox.
Parasol?
No, it's the fan. Right, another starter question. What name is shared by a sculptor of the 5th century BC said to have been the first to bestow attention on the treatment of hair and a mathematician who gives his name to a theorem on right-angled triangles?
Nottingham Fox.
Pythagoras?
Pythagoras is right. Your bonuses, Nottingham, are on prime ministerial ailments. Firstly, for 5, who resigned as Prime Minister in 1963 because of prostate problems but lived on for over 20 years when they proved less serious than he'd feared?
1963. Eden. I don't know. Macmillan. Yeah.
Macmillan.
Correct. Which Prime Minister suffered a major stroke in 1953? It was kept from the public even though he took many months to recover completely.
Churchill.
Correct. Who resigned as Prime Minister in 1957 after the debacle of the Suez operation, citing ill health?
Eden.
That was Sir Anthony Eden. 10 points for this. To what does the following refer? The first legislation was enacted in 1709. In 1842, it was extended from 28 years to 42 years. Other acts covering engraving, sculpture, plays and lectures...
London Business School Gosling.
Copyright.
Copyright is correct, yes. That gets you off the mark, and your bonuses are on punishment. John Wycliffe, King Richard III, Oliver Cromwell and John Bradshaw are among those who've been subjected to what ritual punishment?
Beheading.
Beheading.
No, it's posthumous execution. In what decade did an Act of Parliament stipulate that executions must take place within prison walls?
1840s? Go for the 1840s.
No, it's the 1860s, 1868 to be precise. The last executions in Britain for heresy and for witchcraft both took place in which century?
20th, I thought. 18th? I thought it was 20th.
Witchcraft? On the 20th?
Yeah, I thought it was 20th. I thought it was very modern.
I thought it was 18th.
You're going for 18th?
Yeah.
18th? 18th.
No, we're not that primitive. It was the 17th. 10 points for this starter question. Gymnodium aureolum, formerly Gyrodinium aureolum, of the phylum Dinoflagellida, when in bloom is responsible for the tides around the coasts of North and South America, known by what name?
London Business School famous.
Red.
Red tides is right, yes. Your bonuses are on literature and landscape. Firstly, for 5, which York-born poet wrote the 1948 poem in praise of limestone, inspired by the scenery of the Yorkshire Dales?
No idea. Larkin. Ted Hughes. Larkin. Hughes.
Larkin.
Hughes.
Pick one.
Good. Ted Hughes.
No, it was W.H. Auden. Which Bradford-born writer's ashes are buried in Hubberholme Churchyard in Wharfdale, a village he described as one of the smallest and pleasantest places in the world?
Larkin.
That's J.B. Priestley, and who, in 1799, wrote a letter to his friend Coleridge describing the wonders of a visit to Hardraw Force in Wensleydale?
I go for Shelley.
It was Wordsworth. 10 points for this. Known as Hands Across America, the human chain of about 6 million people that, on the 25th of May 1986, stretched from New York to Long Beach, California, was an initiative proposed to raise awareness of and financial resources for which cause?
Nottingham Jolly.
HIV/AIDS.
No, anyone to buzz from the business school? You may not
London
confer.
Business School Gosling.
Was it education of children?
No, it wasn't. It was homelessness. Another starter question. What links the author of the epic poem Pharsalia, an adjective referring to the second longest of the 4 Gospels, the commander who passed on the order for the charge of the Light Brigade, and a gambling nobleman declared dead in 1999, sightings of whom may nevertheless be
London
reported?
Business School Hall.
Lucan.
Lucan is correct, yes. Your bonuses are on mathematics under Business School. In mathematics, what word is used for the 3-dimensional surface represented by a general second-degree equation in 3 variables?
Good question.
Come on.
Parabolic.
No, it's quadric. Which 3-dimensional surface is represented by the equation x squared equals y squared plus z squared?
3-dimensional sphere. Sphere.
No, it's a cone. Which 3-dimensional surface is represented by the equation x squared plus y squared equals 1?
That's got to be a circle. A sphere. A sphere.
No, that's a cylinder. Right, we're going to take our first picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a map which shows 2 major cities which have been twinned. 10 points if you can name both the cities shown.
Nottingham Renshaw.
Liverpool and St Petersburg.
Anyone want to buzz from London Business School? You may not confer.
London Business School Hall.
Manchester and St Petersburg.
Manchester and St Petersburg is correct, yes. Right, picture bonuses, 3 more maps showing cities which have been twinned. In each case, I want you to name both the cities shown. Here's the first.
Edinburgh and Milan. Edinburgh and Milan?
Do you think it's not Rome?
No, it's too high for
Milan. Edinburgh and Milan?
Yeah, it's
Edinburgh and Milan.
No, it's Edinburgh and Florence. Here's the second.
Okay, it's Birmingham.
Birmingham and...
Is it Lyon? Lyon?
Birmingham and Lyon.
Correct. And finally,
Cardiff and...
Munich or
Frankfurt. Nuremberg or something? Cologne.
come on.
Cologne and Cardiff.
No, it's Cardiff and Stuttgart. 10 points for this. Lying between the Humber and the Wash, which Anglo-Saxon kingdom gave its name to the northern division of Lincolnshire when the county was reorganised in 1888?
Nottingham Fox.
Mercia.
No, anyone to buzz from the London Business School? You may not confer. It's Lindsay. 10 points for this. First published in 2003 with the subtitle The Knitter's Handbook, which book by the American magazine editor Debbie Stoller gave rise to a social trend among women in America and Europe.
London Business School Gosling.
Is it called quilting?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Among women in America and Europe who meet locally to de-stress by knitting and chatting.
Nottingham Jolly.
Is it stitching and bitching?
It is stitch and bitch, yes. 3 questions on wars at the 18th century, Nottingham. The War of the Spanish Succession, as fought in North America, is generally named after which monarch?
Ferdinand the something. Ferdinand II.
No, it's Queen Anne's War. The military operations known in North America as King George's War correspond to which European conflict?
Napoleonic?
No, it's the War of the Austrian Succession. And finally, the conflict known in North America as the French and Indian War is given what name in Europe referring to its duration?
7 Years' War?
7 Years' War is right. 10 points for this. With an estimated population of 176 million, which state of northern India headed a 2004 list of the world's most populous sub-national entities?
London Business School Gosling.
Uttar Pradesh.
Uttar Pradesh is correct, yes. Your bonuses are on a playwright. Focus, a novel of 1945 concerning anti-Semitism, was the first public success for which American author, more usually remembered as a playwright?
Was it Miller, wasn't it? That's what happened.
Miller? Jonathan Miller?
Arthur Miller.
Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller.
It was Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller received an Academy Award nomination in 1996 for his adaptation of which of his own stage works, filmed by the director Nicholas Heitner?
Crucible.
The Crucible is correct. Who directed The Misfits, the 1961 film written by Miller as a vehicle for Marilyn Monroe, from whom he was divorced shortly before the movie appeared?
No. Pass.
That was John Huston. 10 points for this. Ametropia and hypermetropia are terms used to describe abnormalities of what organ of the body?
London Business School Lerman.
The eye.
The eye is right. Your bonuses are on wine. They can put you in the lead, and here we go for 5. Which American singer and songwriter has endorsed 2 wines by the Italian winemaker Antonio Terni called Visions of Jay and Planet Waves?
American singer and songwriter. Name one.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan? Bob Dylan.
It was a guess. It was the right one. Which French film actor produces a wine called Cyrano in his Loire vineyard?
Gerald Depardieu.
Correct. Which rock singer's first vintage on his wine label Il Cantate is called Etna Red, but nicknamed simply Red?
Mick Hucknall.
It is, yes. 10 points for this. Which first name has been shared by 2 Byzantine emperors, the military strategist Little Hart, the architect of Coventry Cathedral, the star of 14 Sherlock Holmes films, and a fictional Torquay...
Nottingham Fox.
Rathbone?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Torquay Hotelier.
London Business School Hall.
Basil.
Basil is right, yes. Your bonuses are on the Pacific. Firstly, for 5, remembered each June by a festival in the capital, Kamehameha I united which group of Pacific islands into a single kingdom in 1810?
Hawaii.
Correct. Which explorer, returning south after a failed attempt to find a passage around the north coast of America from the Pacific, was killed by natives of Hawaii on February the 14th, 1779?
Captain Cook.
Correct. A US territory from 1900, Hawaii was later admitted to the Union as its 50th state, the proclamation being signed by which American president?
1959, so what's that?
Who's before Kennedy?
Eisenhower, yeah. 1959.
Eisenhower?
Yeah.
Eisenhower.
Yes, it was Eisenhower. 10 points for this starter question. First broadcast in 1953, the radio quiz show What Do You Know has been produced since 1967, under which title its contestants answering general knowledge questions posed for over 30 years by Robert Robinson.
Nottingham Fox.
Brain of Britain?
Brain of Britain is right. Your bonuses, Nottingham, are on Acts of Parliament. In each case, I want the decade in which the Act described was passed. Firstly, the Ballot Act, which provided for voting by secret ballot in place of nomination on the hustings.
1830s?
It was the 1870s. Second, the Payment of Members Act, for which for the first time gave members of Parliament a salary, initially of £400.
1910s?
Yes, it was 1911. Third, the Representation of the People Act, which abolished plural voting, such as the university vote and the right of people to vote both where they resided and where they had their businesses.
30s.
No, it was the 1940s, in 1948 specifically. Right, we're going to take a music round. For your music starter, you'll hear an excerpt from a piece of popular music. 10 points if you can tell me the title of the piece.
London Business School Hall.
Zombie.
Zombie by the Cranberries, yes. So, Business School, your bonuses are 3 more pieces of popular music. In each case, I want the name associated with gothic or horror fiction which features in the title. Here's the first.
He's the hairy-handed gent who ran amok in Kent. Lately, he's been overheard in Mayfair. You better stay away from him. He'll rip your lungs out, Jim. I'd like to meet his tailor.
American Werewolf in London.
No, you've got the animal right, I'll accept it. It was actually Werewolves of London, but Werewolves is what I was looking for. Secondly, for 5 points.
Night in the city, New Orleans pretty. Do what you want, some men can do it to you. Well, it don't matter, sister, don't worry. Say what you like, do what you
Vampire.
Vampire is correct, yes. Finally, the name of this instrumental piece.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein is right, yes, by the Edgar Winter Group. Right, 10 points for this starter question. Which 19th century poet coined the phrase sprung rhythm to describe his idiosyncratic poetic...
Nottingham Jolly.
Hopkins.
It was Gerard Manley Hopkins, yes. Here are your bonuses. Which ancient Greek philosopher, when asked why he was begging for alms from a statue, is said to have replied, to get practice in being refused?
Socrates.
No, it was Diogenes the Cynic, who in a play of 1892 defined a cynic as a man who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing.
Oscar Wilde.
Correct. I am neither bitter nor cynical, but I do wish there was less immaturity in political thinking. These are the words of which American president expressing his concern at the isolationist sentiments of many congressmen during a European war.
Roosevelt.
Which one?
Franklin.
Indeed.
D.
Right, 10 points for this. Formerly used as a summer residence at the Spanish court, the Palacio de Miramar is sited in which port and resort of the Basque country?
London Business School famous.
San Sebastian.
San Sebastian is right, yes. Your bonuses are on scientific theory. What is the name of the putative fluid believed in the early 19th century to carry heat by flowing from a hot body to a cooler one?
Phlogiston.
No, it's the caloric or caloric theory. The observations of which physicists made while drilling cannons in the Munich munitions works helped debunk caloric theory. Born in Woburn, Massachusetts in 1753, he was also known for being a British spy and for inventing the kitchen oven, smokeless chimney, pressure cooker and thermal underwear.
Physicist, 1753. Franklin.
No, it was Rumford. Although not the first to establish the mechanical equivalence of heat, James Prescott Joule is credited with the first law of thermodynamics. How many joules, named in his honour, are in a calorie?
I don't know. That's 4 and a bit. 4.8. 4.21.
Well, it's 4.184, but I think I'll accept it, yeah. Well done. OK, 10 points for this. In the United Kingdom Parliament, what 3-word phrase is generally used for the act of changing allegiance from one political party...
Nottingham Jolly.
Crossing the floor.
Crossing the floor is right, yes. Your bonuses are on a city, Nottingham, also known as the Earth Summit. A United Nations conference on the environment and development was convened in June 1992 in which South American city?
Rio.
Correct. Give me the 3-word English title of the edifice that stands on Mount Corcovado above Rio de Janeiro.
Jesus thing, isn't it? It's the statue of Jesus. Christ something.
We don't know.
It's Christ the Redeemer. You're nearly there. Which beachside suburb of Rio took its name from that of a city on the shores of Lake Titicaca in Bolivia, following the enshrinement of a replica of that city's statue? You don't need to buzz. You can just tell us that city statue of the Virgin Mary.
Copacabana?
That's correct. OK, listen carefully to this starter. Before you buzz, and I'm not accepting any equivocation, what is 3/16 of 2/3?
Nottingham Renshaw.
1/8.
1/8 is correct. Your bonuses, Nottingham, are on names forming the passage between the Coral Sea and the Arafura Sea. Which strait is named after the Iberian seaman who navigated it in 1606? Come on.
Don't know.
It's the Torres Strait. Founded by the Phoenicians and later controlled by the Carthaginians and the Romans, on which Mediterranean island is Porto Torres?
Cyprus?
No, it's Sardinia, famed for its spectacular mountain scenery. In which country is the Torres del Paine National Park?
Chile?
Chile is correct. We're going to take a second picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a freshwater tropical fish. 10 points if you can give me its name.
Nottingham Jolly.
Guppy?
No, anyone want to buzz from the business school?
London Business School famous.
Siamese fighting fish?
It is a Siamese fighting fish, yes. Well, we'll see whether you were just guessing by your approach to the bonuses. 3 more tropical fish for you to identify. Here's the first for 5.
It's not koi carp, is it? Koi, what do you think about it? You don't think koi carp, do you?
It's not a koi.
No. Fanfish.
No, that's a blonde guppy. Secondly...
Pipefish?
Pipefish.
No, that's a silver needlefish. And finally...
Elephant fish.
Yes! Well done! Right, 10 points for this starter question. Which name for an overly cheerful and annoyingly optimistic person comes from the orphaned heroine created by Eleanor Hodgman Porter in a children's story?
Nottingham Fox.
Pollyanna?
Pollyanna is right. Your bonuses are on literature. Derived from a Greek word meaning gathering flowers, what name is given to a published collection of poems, songs or pictures? Come on.
Album.
No, it's an anthology. It could be said of me that in this book I have only made up a bunch of other men's flowers, providing of my own only the string that ties them together. Which French essayist wrote this in a work of 1580? Come on.
Pascal.
No, it's Montaigne. Other Men's Flowers was an anthology published by which Viceroy of India, also noted as a military commander in North Africa and the Middle East in World War II? Come on.
Mountbatten?
No, it was Wavell 4.5 minutes ago. 10 points for this. Charlotte, the Princess Royal, Augusta, Elizabeth, Mary, Sophia and Amelia were the 6 daughters of which British monarch?
London Business School Hall.
Queen Victoria.
Nottingham, do you want it? Anyone want to buzz?
Nottingham Fox.
George III?
George III is right, yes. These bonuses could give you the lead. They're on tests for the optical quality of mirrors. What test uses a layer of water placed over a flat mirror, producing an interference pattern interpreted to give the flatness of the mirror?
Drop test.
Drop test?
No, it's the Rayleigh water test. The Ronchi test uses a grating of fine parallel lines to test the deviation of a mirror from its correct figure. The line should appear straight for a mirror of what shape?
Concave?
No, it's just spherical. The Foucault test determines the deviation of a mirror from its ideal shape by the interference patterns produced by what?
Pass.
It's a knife edge. 10 points for this. The Dutch physician and pathologist Christian Eichmann was the first to propose the concept of essential food factors, later known as what?
Nottingham Jolly.
Vitamins?
Vitamins is correct. Takes you on to level pegging. Your bonuses are on the classification of fruits. What name is given to the succulent fruits derived from 2 or more carpels and having a succulent mesocarp and endocarp? For example, the banana, marrow and citrus fruits. Quickly.
Plantain.
No, they're berries. Which class of succulent fruits derived from one carpel are identified by a fleshy mesocarp but a hard endocarp forming a stone, as in plums and cherries? Quickly.
Pass.
They're drupes. Which class of fruits are derived from flower parts other than the carpel, such as the fleshy receptacles of strawberries and apples and the swollen inflorescences of figs and pineapples? Come on.
Pass.
They're pseudocarps or false fruits. 10 points for this. The German monk Notker the Stammerer and the courtier Einhard are noted for their biographies of which ruler born around 742?
London Business School Gosling.
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne is correct. That puts you back into the lead. Your bonuses are on names. What name was given to the last new steam locomotive to be built for British Railways in March 1960? Come on.
Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II.
That was the Evening Star. What name from Greek mythology is given to the western evening star or the setting planet Venus? Come on.
Cirrus.
No, it's Hesperus. Which poet in 1839 wrote The Wreck of the Hesperus? Come on.
Shelley.
No, it was Longfellow. 10 points for this. First on air in 1996. The Arabic television news channel.
London Business School Hall.
Al Jazeera.
No, you lose 5 points. Al Jazeera broadcasts from which monarchy in the Middle East?
Nottingham Jolly.
Saudi Arabia.
No, it's Qatar. Another starter question. What is the valency of antimony in antimony trihydride?
London Business School Lerman.
3.
3 is correct. Your bonuses are on islands. Basse-Terre, when unhyphenated, is the capital of which of the Leeward Islands?
Guadeloupe.
No, it's St Kitts and Nevis. Basse-Terre, when hyphenated, is the name of an island of which territory in the Eastern Caribbean?
Guadeloupe.
That is Guadeloupe. And Guadalcanal, with its chief town of Honiara, lies in the Western Pacific and is the largest of which island group?
Solomon.
Correct. 10 points for this starter question. With the death of Charles Bronson in 2003, which actor became the sole survivor of those who played the title roles in the 1960 Western The Magnificent Seven?
Nottingham Fox.
James Coburn.
No, anyone want to buzz from the London Business
London
School?
Business School Gosling.
Yul Brynner.
No, it's Robert Vaughan. Another starter question. The anatomical term crural refers to which part of the body?
London Business School Lerman.
Diaphragm.
No, anyone want to buzz from Nottingham? Quickly.
Nottingham Jolly.
Between the limbs.
No, it's legs. Another starter question. La Linea de la Concepción and at the gong. Nottingham University have 160. The London Business School have 185. Well, you're out, Nottingham, but you gave them a very good run for their money, and I thought it could have gone either way right down to those closing couple of minutes. So thank you very much for joining us. London Business School, we should look forward very much to seeing you in the quarter-finals. Congratulations. I hope you can join us next time for another second-round match, but until then, it's goodbye from the University of Nottingham.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from the London Business School.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
So many different ideas about the origin of the word cocktail. The one that I like the most is about the coquetier, the egg cup.
It's a great story. Here we are in the shrine of the cocktail in the heart of New Orleans.
We're looking at C words on Balderdash and Piffle here on BBC Two next. Then political satirical comedy. We're in the thick of it here on BBC Two at 10.